Well, we all talked about the case of the custodial death of the father and son duo that came out of Tuticorin, the police brutality. And this is something that hit national headlines, although about a week later than it should have, there was outcry and there was outrage from across the country. Since then, the newspapers haven't picked it up, but there are some very, very important updates that we must bring to you on how that case has moved forward. And in order to get those updates, let me bring in Megha Kaveri. She's a reporter with the News Minute who's been tracking this particular story very closely. Megha, thank you for joining me. We do know, of course, and everybody talked about the fact that the police had come out and said in their FIR that these two men came out of their shop, they rolled on the ground, and that's how they caused themselves the injuries. And then the postmortem was delayed and not given to the court on time. The family had alleged that the men had been beaten very badly, that the hospital, the routine hospital checkup that was supposed to be done the day after they were arrested was complete eyewash, and that the magistrate had not taken any of their injuries seriously. Could you give us an update, and we go piece by piece, could you give us an update of what has happened on the case in terms of just the investigation after the High Court took cognizance?
Absolutely. After the High Court took cognizance of the case suo motu, it ordered the judicial magistrate of Kovilpatti, M.S. Bharathidasan sir, to go and conduct an investigation on what really happened from the time they were picked up from in front of their shops until they both died. And the magistrate had gone for his inquiry, and he had met the family and friends of the duo, and he had also visited the shop and conducted inquiry around the location, and then he had also visited the police station on June 28th to conduct inquiry with the policemen who were there. And he had submitted his report to the High Court on June 29th, in which he had stated that he was feeling very intimidated in the police station, and the policemen who were there were not cooperative for his inquiry. For a magisterial probe, they were not cooperative enough. And there was one head constable who came forward to give her witness statement to the magistrate in that police station. She had reportedly told the magistrate that the policemen Raghu Ganesh and others had beaten Jayaraj and Fenix through the night on June 19th, and caused grievous injuries to them. She had also told the magistrate that there are blood stains on the table, and there are blood stains on the lathis of the policemen, for which the magistrate asked the policemen to present their lathis to him, when the policeman again did not behave in a manner which is appropriate with the magistrate. So recording all these things, the magistrate submitted the report to the High Court, and based on his report, the High Court had ordered the CBCID to take over the case until the CBI comes forward and begins probe in the case. So that's what happened.
Yes. So and I was reading through your report and a couple of other reports about what the investigating officer had said. He said that basically not only were the police unwilling to cooperate, they didn't show him the lathi when he asked to be able to see it. Apparently one of the constables actually turned around and said something rude to him and said, effectively the Tamil translation of "Tum kya ukhadoge? What can you possibly do? You're here." Is this true? And was this also recorded before the court, that they were uncooperative and disrespectful?
Yes, the judicial magistrate's report, a copy of which the News Minute, we have perused it as well. The report clearly mentions the exact Tamil statement of what the constable allegedly told the magistrate. Like, you do whatever you can. Statement in Tamil. Yeah. So that has also been mentioned, and the statement also had told that one of the policemen jumped over the compound wall and ran away, and one policeman gave contradictory answers. First he said he had the lathi in his native town, and then he said that he had in his house in the same town. All these contradictory statements. So all these have been recorded in the judicial magistrate's report.
Well, the other problem, of course, and the other question that we raised was the question of the postmortem, because that held the key really to the kind of injuries that these men had. Now, the postmortem was very interestingly delayed. We understand that the police who were accused actually had told the court that if the delay was due to COVID, the court asked that the postmortem be handed over in a sealed envelope on a certain date. When it didn't come on time, the police were called in, on the possibility of contempt of court because they had not followed the court's orders. But eventually, the postmortem did arrive, didn't it?
Yeah. Yes. So before June 29th, when the High Court took into its account the judicial magistrate's order on June 30th, by the time June 30th arrived, the postmortem preliminary report was also submitted to the High Court, in which it was very clear that Jayaraj and Fenix, both of them had ante-mortem injuries on their body, severe injuries, which happened before they died. So equipped with this report and the head constable's statement as recorded by the judicial magistrate and the judicial magistrate's report itself, the High Court had told that there was prima facie grounds to file an FIR against the policeman under section 302 for murdering the father-son duo in Tuticorin.
Right. And now we understand an arrest has been made, Megha?
Yes. Yesterday night, there was a great development in the case because CBCID has been investigating the case since day before yesterday evening. The CBCID SP Anil Kumar had visited the places and spoken to a lot of people there. And yesterday night around 9:30 p.m. Sub-Inspector Raghu Ganesh was arrested by the CBCID and he has been remanded to judicial custody as well. And in the early hours of today, three more cops, another Sub-Inspector Bala Ganesh and Inspector Sridhar and Head Constable Murugan. He is the complainant. Constable Murugan is the complainant for that particular FIR, and Murugan and another constable Mutturaj were the one who had gone patrolling that day when Jayaraj and Fenix were picked up from Satankulam shop. These two constables were the one who had gone patrolling, and Murugan. It is under Murugan's name that the FIR has been registered against Jayaraj and Fenix. And Mutturaj has been taken into custody. Has not yet been formally arrested yet. So 4 policemen have been arrested. 1 has been remanded to judicial custody, and 1 is yet to be arrested. Totally 5.
Right. So a total of 5 Tamil Nadu policemen, and 4 of them have been arrested. Megha, the question that we have to ask is a slightly larger question. There have been enough stories that have, done the rounds in the last 1 week of how Tamil Nadu police, specifically Tuticorin police, has a very bad history and a track record when it comes to police excess and police brutality. Is there an intention, or has there been anything said by the state government to the tune of, we will make sure that the police goes through training, there is reform, there is punishment for those who break the law in this fashion? Has the state government shown any intent?
In fact, yes. In today's High Court hearing, the state government had brought in psychologists and personnel from NIMHANS, psychological experts from NIMHANS, also had appeared in front of the bench today, who spoke in detail about the police wellness plan that is already in place and that has plans that are yet to be brought in order to improve the mental health and emotional well-being of the police personnel and their families in the state. So yes, that has been discussed at in detail in today's High Court hearing as well.
Right. Is there now a clearer idea of what the motive was for these policemen? Because I remember everyone was asking, why would anybody do this? Why would 2 mobile shop owners make the police so angry as to cause them to beat them all night to within an inch of their lives and then eventually to their death? Was there a personal enmity, or was this just a situation, like you pointed out, of mental health? Is that what has been said to the court?
As far as we know, we have not heard any instances of a personal enmity between the cops and these 2 men before. And we have also verified with a couple of eyewitnesses who said that there's not been any instance of altercation between these 2 even before that particular day. So we don't think that there was any history between the policemen and Jayaraj and Fenix. And with regards to the main motive behind why the policemen would assault Jayaraj and Fenix so severely in the police station, it is still at large because the investigation is going on. And at this moment in time, we really don't know what the police has told the CBCID personnel about all these things. It is true that Raghu Ganesh was investigated yesterday for over 6 hours, but we still don't know what came out of that questioning. So yes, it's out in the open to, probably speculate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Megha, for joining me and giving me, in a quick 10 minutes, everything that we needed to know about this story. So 4 cops have been arrested. There has been headway made in this case. Not everything is hopeless, and we have to have faith in our judicial system. What we will do is we will keep an eye on this case and bring you updates. And it's important as audience members also and as citizens to remember, to show interest in cases will mean that there's a certain level of pressure on the investigators to continue to do their jobs. We won't let this out of our sight, and that's important in making sure the family gets justice and the memory of these 2 men also remains alive. All right, Megha, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope we will have you back fairly soon on our 6 p.m. show. For our audience, the idea is to bring you a fresh story every day at 6 p.m. For exactly 10 minutes, quickly tell you what's going on. All right, thanks for watching. Join us again at 8 p.m. today as we bring you a bigger story on what's happening in Bangalore and whether or not Bangalore has completely run out of hospital beds as the number of COVID cases start to shoot up. That's at 8 p.m. this evening. Thanks for joining us.